Can we talk postpartum depression for a minute? Specifically my postpartum depression journey. And it's going to take way longer than a minute. But I just wanted to touch on this for a second because so much of this personal growth chapter of my life is because I'm kind of just coming out of like a season, like a 4-year season of depression and anxiety. I don't think my anxiety will probably ever go away, but I think that I can overcome my depression. So it just, in a nutshell, after I gave birth to my first son in 2018, I, unbeknownst to me, came down with this like pretty bad case of postpartum depression, and it took a lot of months before I could figure out that that's what was going on with me. So about 5 months after he was born, I finally started the feelings, the emotions, everything that was building up in my life made me feel like I need to seek out some counseling. So I found a counselor and I was able to get on some medication at that point too, but unfortunately the medication, it took 8 weeks before it really would kick in. So for those 2 months that I was also waiting on a wait list to see a counselor, I just felt like it's kind of like short timer's disease. Like it was coming, all of the things were gonna happen. I was about to be on the medication, I was about to see a counselor, but all of my depression and anxiety was also coming to like the forefront of every single crevice in my life. It was really bad at work. I was getting called in all the time by my bosses, being told that my coworkers felt uncomfortable with me or didn't like the way I worked. And this is when I really found out that how controlling I am. Like I didn't realize what a control freak that I am. And so it would come out at work because at my home life, I didn't feel like I had any control over anything. I had this newborn child. I still had 2 stepdaughters that I was trying to take care of, and I was trying to navigate being a new mom. My husband was really supportive and he stayed home with the kids, thankfully, but like, I still just felt like I did not have control at the home. So at work, I would go to work and I would just like micromanage people like crazy in a position in my job that I didn't even really know. Like I still was really new in the position that I'm in, and it takes a long time to learn all of the things that I had to learn. And so plus I had mom brain fog and like depression and anxiety underneath that I didn't really realize that's what it was. So anyways, all of that to say is it finally came crashing down, and I was in a bad place. So over the course of the last few years, I've continued with counseling. I tried to get off of my antidepressant, anti-anxiety medication before I got pregnant with the twins, and then I found out I was pregnant with twins, and my anxiety shot through the roof. For fear of having a high-risk pregnancy, losing one of my kids in utero. And so let me back up a little bit. When I first got on the antidepressant medication, I was so angry. I thought, who am I? I mean, I've never been a depressed person. I am happy, I'm upbeat, I'm outgoing. Like, I am a happy person. I have never dealt with this kind of depression or anxiety in my life. I'm sure I've had anxiety, but like I could never call it that. But I had never had depression. I never got to the point where I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to go outside my home. I didn't want to see people. I didn't want pictures taken of me. Like, I mean, pretty much all of the definition of depression was like the things that I was going through. So anyways, I was really angry. I had to get on medication to make me a happier person or whatever. Now, after years of being on it, I don't think that that's exactly what happened, but I was just at that point in my life, I was really angry about it. So, So fast forward, I stopped medication, I got pregnant, found out I was having twins, anxiety through the roof, got back on medication. At that point, I knew how well it helped me the first time, so I wasn't angry that I was on it. I actually was, in fact, happy, and it was fine through the pregnancy. I was nervous to get on it while I was pregnant, but the cons far outweighed the pros, because at that time, I mean, I could not function. and my kids didn't like me. My husband didn't like me. I don't blame them. I was angry. I was really snappy and sad, whatever. So I got back on the medication. And then after the twins were born, I kind of messed with the dose on my own. And so I just kept going. Like, I'm like, I still feel really anxious, so I'm going to just go up a little bit. I'm going to go up a little bit, go up a little bit, go up a little bit. And I was able to kind of like bring myself pretty much to the top of the max level that you should be at for that medication. And I felt good. I feel like I thought that I was feeling good, but I was really foggy. And so my husband finally called me out on it. Thank God he did. But like, he's like, you are not present. You are not being here with the kids. You know, it got to the point where I used to care a lot about everything, like every little thing that the bigger kids were eating, or, you know, if it was healthy or not, or if Ronan was getting into something, I was like on him about it. But I wasn't like that anymore. I just didn't care. I literally did not care hardly about anything. Even if one of the twins fell and hurt themselves and they were crying, I just kind of sat there and watched them, because I knew they weren't in imminent like danger. But also I just wasn't like nurturing or mothering. I didn't jump up and go like coddle my baby. And sometimes that's okay, but to the point that, to the extent that I was getting, it wasn't okay. And so I quit the medication. I didn't want to. I felt like I was going to be a crabby person. And I was. So I have been off medication now, antidepressant, anti-anxiety medication, probably for 2 months, maybe. It took a long time for it to get out of my system. I was like a crazy person. I was really short and snappy with people. I could see myself getting back to that like controlling, want to control everything, what people are eating, what people are doing, how they're doing it, you know, when they're doing it, all these things. I wanted to control that, but through kind of like mindfulness and really trying to pay attention to how I'm acting, wanting to be a better person. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to snap at my kids. And this is the other thing, like, so excuse my language, but shit rolls downhill. So if I got in trouble at work, or if my husband and I were having like, you know, a fight or an issue, like I would snap at the teenage daughters instead of the babies, because you can't really freak out on kids or like there's nothing they were doing that would be making me really angry. And so kind of it just all landed on the teenage girls, and they didn't deserve it. They didn't know where it was coming from. They didn't understand it, and and rightfully so. And so I started seeing that in myself. I started seeing the kids kind of draw away, like pull away from me or withdraw. And I hate that. I hated that, because they already struggle with so much in their life. They don't need like anxiety and anger and all the things that I was, you know, providing for them. I'm trying to be their safe space. I'm trying to be a person that can help and guide and things. And I can't be that person if I'm being mean to them. And it's not fair to them either. So anyways, I have always wanted to be a good person specifically for them. To be a good role model, but also because they need that. It's what they need. And so, anyways, I started being more mindful of how I'm acting. And I think I actually was on the path to try and get on a different type of medication. But I think right now I'm going to just like lay low for a second. I'm going to keep the medication out of my body. I've started Thrive. I feel mentally more clear. I do think that's part of the products. I also think that's part of getting off of my medication. I feel like I am a happy person. I'm upbeat again. I do try to be controlling, but I'm more mindful of it, so I can kind of pull myself back or whatever. My husband's also really good about being like, hey, just a little reminder, I'm noticing you're doing this. And so then I can kind of pull things back a little. Also, my teenage daughters really will call me out on it, like, so often. They're like, why are you upset? Like, what is going on with you? Why are you so upset? Or are you doing okay today? If I say something like, are you doing okay? How was work today? Like, they call me out and I'm like, okay, they don't want to know how I'm doing. They're trying to tell me. I mean, they probably do want to know how I'm doing, but anyways, so that wasn't just 1 minute. That's 10 minutes of my postpartum depression journey, which then turned into kind of just depression, which then turned into mostly anxiety. But I am off the medication and I'm feeling really good. And I don't think, I think it's just going to get better. I think being mindful and really paying attention to like how I'm feeling and how I'm treating people is the key to being able to stay off of this medication. And so, and also communication, like if I can be vulnerable with my family and say, hey, I'm sorry that I'm crabby right now. I'm sorry that I got on your case. It was not about you. It was about me. It is rarely about them. It is rarely something that they're doing, and it's mostly how I'm feeling inside. And so if I'm vulnerable with them, they are way more receptive to it. And then they also don't take it as personal and so it doesn't hurt them as much either when I do those things. And then also just coming back and apologizing to them, like when I was totally in the wrong. Hey, I'm really sorry that I did this and I said this. Again, it was not about you. It was about me, but you didn't deserve it. And moving forward, I'm going to try and do it this way. So anyways, thanks for listening to my rant. Have a good day.